Those circuit riders lit a fire that became America's second great awakening. Christians camped out by the thousands to hear these traveling evangelists. In 1818, seekers and the saved began to meet in an Ohio valley by a creek known as Hollow Rock. So imagine, these summer camp meetings at Hollow Rock have been going on for 200 solid years without a break. And it was a lot harder to get here in the 1800s. Back then, the road ran right along the Hollow Rock Run, and you had to ford it 7 times to get to the campground. Sharon Brooks Woodruff has been coming here 75 years, and her ancestors long before that.
My grandmother actually came in a horse and buggy.
Same for Lynn Campbell's ancestors.
My grandmother's grandparents came here, and generation after generation.
Traveling evangelist Lane Lohman's father preached here 15 different years, and Lane is drawn back over and over.
And what the secret is, they hand it down to the next generation.
Mel Truex has presided over the camp since 1977.
This will be the 8th or 9th generation of families that have made this place what it is.
At 3 tabernacles, half a dozen services bring the faithful together to worship and hear the word each day. And at 1:15 p.m. without fail, the camp bell rings out and everyone stops what they're doing to pray for several minutes. Many have met Jesus Christ here. Many have let him heal their broken lives. Truex remembers the conversion of one man whose marriage had fallen apart.
And he said, oh my. He said, there's my wife that I've separated from. And she found Jesus too, and they met together. And in a few months they remarried.
Prayer circles often break out to take needs to the Lord.
You can share things, and you know that when people say, I'm praying for you, they are praying for you.
Kids and teens love coming, even if they're cut off from their usual online life.
We don't have a pool, we don't have internet, they can't play their games. We're so concentrated on seeking God's will, and that His Holy Spirit will just permeate this place in such a way that we do feel like we're on holy ground.
Campbell remembers as a kid she could hardly wait to get back to Hollow Rock.
I packed a week before camp. I was ready to come.
One lifelong campgoer said he offered his kids Disney World or Hollow Rock one summer. They all shouted, Hollow Rock!
I see a hunger, a new hunger, especially in young people, for something that's going to take them beyond just going to church, just being a nice person, but wanting to be holy and want to be right with God.
All agree it's the camp's 200-year emphasis on holiness that is at the heart of Hollow Rock's success.
God said, be holy, for I am holy.
So we receive freedom from the power of sin. That's what we get. And that beautiful relationship that's untainted by any essence of sin in our lives.
It's just totally died out to self and things that would distract from having that relationship with Him.
We can actually choose to live above willful sin, and that's freedom.
And when you find that relationship, you realize His ways are best. Why would I try to tell an awesome God how He ought to do it, even though sometimes we do?
Develop a hunger for God. There is no end to what God can do.
Those at Hollow Rock do seek to change the world for Christ. In the meantime, they're happy to bask in what's right here.
There's just something about this place. When you walk onto the campus, I mean, you just have that peace, that calming, God's presence is here.
Evangelist John Brasher so loved Hollow Rock, he preached here again and again across half a century. When he was near death and could no longer come here physically, he sent a letter to the Hollow Rock congregation, writing, tell the trees, the hills, the rambling little creek, the bubbling springs, that the old preacher loves them very much. They are like music in my memory. It's now an American memory that stretches a solid 200 years. Paul Strand, CBN News, reporting from the Hollow Rock camp